Let me enter into the today's satsang. I'll expand on 9th verse of Isavasya Upanishad. Recite along with me. Antam tama pravishanti ye avidyamupasate tatho bhuya yivate tamaha yavu vidyayam rataha antam tama pravishanti ye avidyamupasate tatho bhuya ivate tamaha yavu vidyam yamrataha. Listen, I'll read out the translation now. Those who worship avidya, the ignorance that veils the true knowledge of truth, consciousness, enter into blinding darkness characterized by the absence of perception, but into greater darkness of ignorance than that enter they who, considering themselves as scholarly and learned, are engaged in vidya, the incomplete knowledge. It should be engaged in avidya, the incomplete knowledge, acquired for vested interests, characterized by the impure perception of truth and consciousness. Listen, I'll explain step by step. Listen, I'll explain the key point in this verse directly. Now, all of you have done Vakyartha Sadas for last so many days. What is consciousness? What is all-pervasiveness? What is without coming and going? What is muscleless, woundless? All this you would have done. At one point, you will feel stuck. It's natural. At that moment, if you decide, it's okay, but I'll continue to dig, you are living enlightenment. At that moment, you think, whatever I learnt with that, let me make whatever I need in my life. Like material comforts or luxury, name and fame, it's enough. Who knows more than what I did? Leave it. Then that is avidya. Understand, listen. Only a person who practiced whatever I said can understand this explanation. But this is the most straight explanation. When you are exploring into consciousness, while you are making your brain subtler and subtler, when the subtler and subtler grooves in your brain is developing to catch consciousness, to reflect the pure consciousness as it is, how can your brain be trained and developed to catch the pure reflection of consciousness as it is? By internalizing, meditating, thinking, contemplating, debating, having Vakyartha Sadas. What is consciousness? What is that all-pervasive, beyond going and coming? What is that? The space, nature, action and result. What is that? which is center of all this. What is that which is muzzleless and boundaryless? What is that which is beyond all relationships and association? What is that? When you contemplate, and I tell you, no one needs to become a believer. The contemplation and consciousness itself will make you so sure you are that consciousness. I tell you, when I had the experience of third eye awakening and able to see everything around me, it did not take more than microsecond to know I am that. What a fool that I considered this as me. Please listen. By nature, the highest thing your brain can reflect, it associates itself with that. If you think sex is the highest experience, you associate yourself with that. If you think eating is the strongest experience, you associate yourself with that. If you think Krishna is the highest experience, you feel you are Krishna. If you think Mahadeva is the highest experience, you will feel you are Mahadeva. If you think consciousness is the highest experience, you will feel you are consciousness. The subtlest grooves in your brain develops to reflect the pure consciousness as it is when you contemplate on what is consciousness as guided by the Upanishads. Upanishads are guiding you. Consciousness as no space. It is beyond the space. There is no coming and going. It is the center of space, nature, action, responsibility, result. But it is not bound by any of that. It is center of all that. I am sitting in this chair, but I am not bound to this chair. That is why this chair belongs to me. So anything you are center, but you are not bound by it, is under you, it belongs to you, and you become the center. You are the power of that. Understand, consciousness is the center of action, result, knowledge, responsibility, space, nature, everything. But it is not bound by any of that. When you are contemplating all this, you can see many of the qualities of consciousness is already permeating your life in a smaller scale. In a smaller scale. You can never be without consciousness. In a smaller scale, all that will be permeating your life. But when you contemplate deeper and deeper, it will start permeating in the higher and higher scales. More and more pure consciousness will start reflecting in your brain, in your system. Understand? A person, understand, here no compromise. No compromise. Nothing can come in between you and you realizing your consciousness. Nothing can come in between you and your enlightenment. That's the beauty of Hindu tradition. First we teach you to become enlightened, then we ask you to worship. That is what is Advaita Bhakti, Jnanavarishta Bhakti. Because the Advaita gives you the powerfulness and completion. After that, your bhakti, you will be overflowing with the God which you created out of your very being. You will not be standing in front of anybody and begging and praying. Prarthana should not be translated as prayer. No. No. Prarthana should not be translated as prayer. The concept we have in Agamas, the reason for worshipping, reason for doing rituals is straight from the space of Shivoham. Actually, the whole Somasambhu Pattati, which is the manual for our Sangha, please understand, Kamik Agama is the Agama for our Sangha. Somasambhu Pattati is the manual wrote based on Kamik Agama, is the manual for our Sangha. Pattadi means manual. The reasons, the yes or no, right or wrong, explanations, everything logically presented to do what to do and why we should do. All this is beautifully presented based on Kamik Agama in Somasambhu Pattadi. The manual very clearly says Shivoham is the purpose and the center of this manual. Means by using this manual you will achieve the Shivoham experience. After that, to radiate the Shivoham experience, continue to use that manual. That's all. So nothing can come in between you and you realizing the Shivoham experience.